Hi, everyone, and welcome to 5 Fast Facts, where we ask legal technology startups to rise to the challenge of describing 5 things about their company in 5 minutes. I'm Caroline Hill, Editor-in-Chief of Legal IT Insider, and today I'm speaking with Olof Heggemann, who is the CEO and founder of Eperoto. Hi, Olof.
Hi, Caroline.
Thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks a lot. Happy to be here.
So Eperoto is headquartered in Stockholm, and you help legal professionals to assess and analyse their chances of winning a case using decision theory. Now, you're going to come on to tell me much better exactly what the company does. But before we turn the clock on and ask you to talk about the company, about you, about clients, all within 5 minutes, let's just clear one thing up. How do you pronounce Eperoto? If I was to pronounce it correctly.
That's actually a good question, and maybe the most difficult one I will have on this 5 short facts. But Eperoto it's a Greek word, and it basically means I have asked and now I'm asking again because I want additional information. So I guess the correct way to pronounce it in Greece would probably be Eperoto or Eperoto, something like that. My Greek is not the best. But since I'm in Sweden and you're in the UK, I would probably say Eperoto, and in the UK perhaps Eperoto.
Eperoto.
So it's kind of like, how do you pronounce Paris? Well, in Sweden you would say Paris. In France you would say Paris, and then there's different way of saying it, I guess, in different countries.
It sounds much nicer when you say it. So I'm going to notionally turn the clock on. And so tell me, Olof, tell me about Eperoto. Tell me one thing about the company.
If I only can say one thing, I can say that I believe we're really in the forefront of the new way of dealing with legal disputes worldwide. I think we're seeing a huge change, and it's very interesting to be a part of that change when it comes to dealing with and analyzing legal disputes. It's I believe that we are a part of this movement, you could almost say, in how to assess cases.
Okay, I'm going to come on to ask you about the software, so people will find out a bit more detail about how that works. But tell me something about you.
So I have a legal background. I've been almost 5 years in the Swedish court system. So dealing with in the district courts, it's mostly criminal law, but also civil disputes. And it was actually in court that the initial blueprint for what is now Eperoto was sketched out initially in Excel and on papers, but it was created as a way to help parties coming to court understand how to deal with these disputes that they have there, because I mean, disputes it's difficult to avoid. They will arise in commercial situations, but they are difficult to handle, and that's where we come in, creating a solution for parties to kind of step back and make rational decision when dealing with these quite complex things.
Yeah. And I know sometimes clients are difficult to talk about. Are you able to share a client or client win with us?
Yeah, of course. We started off in Sweden and Scandinavia. So some of our first customers was one of the biggest firms in Sweden, which is Money Swartling and their dispute resolution team. So we started off early with them, working very closely with them, and then actually we were almost a bit headhunted by other firms that also had an interest in this way of working. So, for example, in Norway, we were approached by Arns & Besche, which are also one of the Norwegian firms that are on the forefront of this way of working. And then also we were approached by Allen Over in the UK that are running Fuse. So basically they contacted us and say, we heard you might be making something that we're interested in, and then we basically did a demo and then said we'd like you to join Fuse, and we said, of course, when do you need to that would be probably interesting, but when do you need a decision? And they said tomorrow. So we had 24 hours to think about it and decided to accept, and after that we've been working very closely with the people in Allen Over.
And that's great profile for you guys, which I've written
Yeah.
about. So tell me one thing about the software.
The software is it's far from many times when people hear about legal disputes and legal tech, it's all about AI or databases, and this is of course the future. But we like to say that our software is not the smart one. The smart one is the users. It's a HI software. It's about human intelligence. So our tool is used by really smart and clever dispute resolution professionals, and then they apply all of this knowledge to create financial models around disputes. Traditionally, lawyers are really good at kind of looking at a case and finding out all the arguments and all the tours and detours in a case, but they're perhaps not as good in mapping out the case from a financial perspective. But with our software, they get the tools to do this, to actually say that, okay, it would actually make sense for you to accept this settlement amount. Maybe you could win a lot more, but you also risk losing this case with legal costs involved, etc. So this would actually be a rational decision, and even in quite complex cases.
Yeah, interesting. And then best feature, and if you want to share it to me, you're very welcome to, or just talk me through it.
Yeah, our best features, and I'm happy to show you, is what we call the legal tree, which is in a way a very dynamic decision tree model for analyzing a case. So what you're looking now is our platform, and in it we have some example cases. But just to have a look at one case, we could have a look at here a dispute revolving around an M&A transaction. So when a user log into our platform, they create their assessment, enter information about the proceedings of the case, and then they start modeling the aspects of a case. So here we see a financial model based on the legal aspects involved in a merger and acquisition dispute. Basically, a company that's been bought, and then the buyers are not happy with the outcome. So here we can see a very convenient and quick way to see how is this case mapped out. Where could we end up? Well, if the tribunal in this case would answer the questions the way we like, then we could get a full win here. But usually disputes are complex. There's a lot of options between a full win and a full loss. So this kind of dynamic decision tree model that you can see here is basically unique for us, because we have implemented a lot of features to make even complex cases easy to map out. And then this, of course, moves forward to analyzing kind of the overall value of a claim. So you can see what's our upside in this case, what's our downside, and where would it make sense to settle.
Yeah, I have to tell you, as a former dispute resolution lawyer myself, it's certainly moving the conversation along from,
Yeah.
I think it's going to be successful. That's our 5 minutes.
All right.
I appreciate you rising to the challenge of 5 fast facts. Thank you very much for joining me.
Thanks a lot for having me. Thanks a lot.